I am going to do some homemade garlic bread. So I'll tune you in as I go. So I'm going to put a little olive oil in I'm going to use the cast iron because it cooks everything evenly. And drop some garlic in here because I like to have my garlic to set the flavor for my oil. And I only use olive oil when I'm cooking with ground turkey because all other meat produces its own fat. But ground turkey, as we know, is a little drier. So I like to have a little oil base prior to adding my meat. I sprinkled a little salt in this boiling water, and I'm going to break my spaghetti in half and drop it in. So let me get that just a little brown, not a lot of brown, and then my meat can go in. There is no rush when you're cooking meat for spaghetti. Some people is clumpy and nasty and it gets stuck in your throat. Not mine. I like mine to be chopped very fine. Very, very fine. And when you're cooking ground turkey, you can cook it a little longer. It's no rush to getting it done. Just because it's brown doesn't mean it's done. So I'm going to get it brown. I'm going to mince through it as I'm doing to get it chopped fine. And then I'm going to cover it. And I'm going to let the heat cook it. And then I'm going to continue to mince through it until I have no large chunks. And then just let that cook finely, okay? Drain the spaghetti. And don't rinse mine because that's why I had the salt in there. And now I'm going to transfer my meat over to another pan so that I can mix my spaghetti sauce and make a meat sauce. So I've added some spaghetti sauce. Ooh, splashing. Add some more because we like sauce. And I don't just leave it at this. I just let it cook into this meat. And you know, I can make a homemade sauce, but we don't have time for that, and we have to use what we have. I prefer the garden combination because it's chunky and I like vegetables. A lot of people prefer Prego or whatever it's called. I like it too, but it's a little sweeter, but I like to mix on top of it. So I have my meat, which you can see is really finely minced. And I am going to season on top of this. A lot of herbs and spices though. Not no more salt. Some people like a little hint of sugar. So I got to get this all blended in. And then I'll add some spices to it. So you cover it and you let it smother. After you add your spices. And for my garlic bread, I have this garlic butter that I put in my same pan. And I'm melting it down. I added garlic and a little more butter, but here's the garlic butter that I have. And again, I'm taking a shortcut because if you want to make fresh garlic bread, all you have to do is roast some garlic cloves in the oven. Once they are done, you squeeze the garlic out and you mix it with butter and a little olive oil. But I'm gonna let this melt down, and then I'm going to dip my bread after I slice it down in it and get it drenched in there. And I am going to bake it. I got my oven ready. So stay tuned. So my butter is melted down and I chopped up my bread. So yep, I'm going to let it toast a little just so it can absorb. I usually have cooking utensils, but because I'm trying to record and do this at the same time, I'm using my hands. But I wash them continuously. And I'm quarantined with Ty, so whatever. Alright, so I just get all of my bread buttery. Then I set it back onto the baking dish. I don't care for cheese, but I added some for Ty. So now I'm about to put this in the oven. I just added some more garlic butter on top, so when it gets in the oven, it's really just going in there so that it can toast, because I already did some toasting in the skillet. But butter will melt down, it'll toast a little more, and the cheese will melt, and then the garlic bread will be done. So you can see my meat sauce is nice and finely minced. And now I am about to mix it in my spaghetti. By the time that garlic bread is done, we will be eating, okay? And now I am only waiting on my garlic bread to brown or toast. And this spaghetti will be done. It's going to be really good too. You can add whatever type of cheese, Parmesan cheese or whatever, but I'll show you when it's plated. Dinner is served.